Welcome to Compai's Expat Channel. I am Compai. I am Sosua's voice of reason. In this video, I'm going to talk about why the investors are going to be real happy and why the people who just buy property are not. But speaking of properties, on your next trip to Sosua, have a look at my business, Casa de Compai, for your next vacation rental. There's a lot of places to rent in Sosua. If you're looking for peaceful, affordable, and tranquil, look at Casa de Compai, Sosua's hidden gem. When you're ready to reserve at Casa de Compai, my contact information is in the description down below. All right, guys. Thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate everybody who's taken the time to watch this video. But if you can give me just a little bit more time, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and how about sharing my videos and leaving a comment? I'd really appreciate it. Most people who watch my channel are not subscribers. But with that being said, I want to talk about why the investors like myself are really excited about this downturn that is just starting. The people who just buy property, they're going to be a little bit upset because the buyers have been buying for the last 4 years. The investors who really know the market have been sitting on the sidelines waiting, because the way things are going right now, and I'm going to be doing a video on just fire sales. I'm seeing fire sale after fire sale after fire sale just on Facebook alone. Now, I want to talk about why are people selling their business on a fire sale? And well, let me define what is a fire sale. A fire sale is somebody that needs to sell that property ASAP, as soon as they can. Well, why? Because they need the equity, the money out of that property to save something else. So usually they're losing something in the States, another property in the States. They need to unload the property down here to pay off a mortgage back home or just to live off of. So a lot of people right now do not understand what is happening. And it's not just a Sosua thing. It's Florida is getting crushed right now. Other markets in the United States are seeing that real estate downturn. Guys, this is the beginning, and it's going to go on for a little bit. This is going to be the norm for the next couple of years. I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. There's still a lot of layoffs. People still have too much debt. People are living paycheck to paycheck. I've done more than one video that I talk about how slower things are in Sosua, because I'm not the guy that talks about Punta Cana. I don't live there. I know this area, and that's what I talk about. But the indicators are everywhere, okay? So unfortunately, a lot of people came down here after COVID, because COVID changed a lot of things for a lot of people down here. And what do I mean by that? Okay, from 2010 to 2020 was when COVID hit. It was a slow increase, a slow uptick, normal growth. As the American economy has not had a real recession since 2008. Guys, we are way, way overdue. Capitalism is a cycle, man. You got boom, you got bust. You know, things are left to their own design. In capitalism, it will self-correct. It won't go into a huge bubble until outside factors come into it. Outside factors is usually government involvement. Lowering interest rates to the point where people can afford to buy larger property, go more in debt, and that's what happened. Since COVID, it's a different beast. Why am I saying this? Well, we had that slight downturn in 2020. not because the economies brought it on, because the government shut everything down. And what did they do? They injected money into the system, money that did not purchase a service or produce a product. It was money that was just printed and handed out. Every asset class got inflated, and it has to get deflated. And that's because we're going to be in bubbles. People can't afford mortgages back home. People are getting crushed on car loans. People have too much credit card debt. People are hurting, and they don't have the spendable income to be going on vacation like before. Now, COVID brought in a false sense of security. You had a lot of guys buying property down here. All right. They bought a lot of property, threw it up on Airbnb, and then they got another one. And then they went in some buddies. Then you have this group of guys, as a group, they're buying properties over here. Well, everybody who came down after COVID, they don't know the real cycle of business down here. Guys, we have high seasons and we have low seasons. Since COVID, the low seasons were good. The low seasons were nothing like they were years past, pre-COVID, right? So people who came down here and bought, they have a false baseline of what business is like. Well, this year is what it really is like, then some. I've never seen it this low before. Now, guys like me, what do? I dump more money on my property. I make it better. I can always lower my rates, give a better product, and capture more market share. I only have 10 condos to rent out. I have no debt. This is just more time off from me to sit in the studio and make more videos. But the guys that have bought stuff on credit back home, and they have mortgages, a lot of guys take out a home equity line of credit. They take out a second mortgage. They lost their job. That's why you're seeing the fire sales. They thought it was just buy a piece of property, throw it up on Airbnb, and everything's going to be fine. Well, Airbnb, I've done videos on it. Go look at my playlist. Airbnb gives you a false narrative on how to do business down here, because it was just everybody had excess money to spend because of COVID, because they had all this stimulus money to burn in their pocket, so they just spent it. They came on vacation. Guys, that's not the norm. You cannot come down here, think you're going to buy property, open up an Airbnb, have a couple Airbnb listings, and think you're going to be highly successful. There's more to it than that. So as the economy shrinks, so does the amount of people that can come here. It's just basic capitalism 101. But people have overextended themselves. Just go through and listen to the other content creators who are talking about take a decent sized condo and cut it in half and make it 2 studios. Not going to work. You're going to lose it. You're not going to make any money on that. You're going to be renting it for $35, $40 a night when it gets really bad, because that's what's going to happen. And because they don't understand the real high season, low season down here, it was to the point where I had people going, John, why are your prices higher in January, February, March? Well, that's the high season. Because most people were just giving high season prices out as all for a lot of the year. They just never changed their prices to reflect high season, low season. I had to explain that to a bunch of people. It's like an airline ticket. You buy airline tickets certain times of the year, it's a lot more money. Certain times of the year, it's a lot cheaper. Same thing down here. So what's happening is you're going to see the investors start to sweep in and start scooping up properties. I'm sitting on the sideline. I think we're still 18 months away from the real bargains being out there. All the people who bought, in my opinion, every buyer who got in this market, let's say first quarter of 2021 is when it was really heating up until January of this year. That was the height. That was the top of the market. Now it's coming down. I know guys who've sold a couple condos here, their own condos, and they had to lower their price, where 18 months ago, they might have had a couple offers on it. So the market is definitely softening. And as things get worse in the States, you're going to see these guys who were buyers, not investors. There's a big difference between people who buy than people who invest. I bought all my properties in the downturn market, not when things were heating up. The upturn of the I would not buy. I did not look at buying property from 2021 until today. Too expensive, too high. I bought my villa January of 2020, and by the fall, my villa, people were saying, if you ever want to sell your villa, they were giving me $100,000 more than I bought it for. That was 9 months later, guys. That was the demand. That was the fake money being injected into the economy, and it just inflated everything. And the other problem is you have way too many real estate agents down here post-COVID not knowing what it's really like in the low seasons, giving out bad advice, telling people, you can make money off of this year-round on Airbnb. You're going to get a return on investment of 8 to 10%. That's not a guarantee. Because there's just too many rentals. And if Airbnb has been getting pounded. They've been taking a beating for a good 2 years now. Too many people, especially in Florida, too many people are giving up their Airbnbs because Airbnb was just, just go Airbnb it. It'll be fine. They'll do the heavy listing. All you got to do is make sure it's clean and keep fresh pictures of your place in your listing. It's not it, guys. If you're that investor and you're looking to get into something, I'm telling you, give it 18 months. You're going to get some really good deals. Now, let me talk location. You're not going to get the really good deals in certain gated communities, but you're going to get good deals in La Mulata. First place that's going to go south is La Mulata, because it always does. They did a good job of refixing everything up, building it up, but it's still La Mulata, okay? Anybody who bought properties in one of my favorite places, Tabash, Hotel Europa, way overpriced Hotel Europa. Guys were paying $70,000, $80,000 for condos in there. What are you, nuts? Hotel Europa? No. Safe Bet, Club Residential right down the road. That will hold its value. Garden condos will hold its value. So you're going to see other places that are El Neptuno, great bang for the buck. El Neptuno, awesome condo complex. If it's on the ocean, safe bet. But all these other ones, especially all these ones that have just been built, they're going to have problems, because I honestly don't think at the price people were paying to buy and especially to build in the downturn that's coming, if they have a mortgage, they will not be able to maintain it. And that's where the investors like myself will come in and get it at a really good deal. I'm not saying I'm buying anything else. I'm too old. At my age, I'll be 57 this month. I don't have time to recoup any losses. In my 30s, I got plenty of years ahead of me, not at 57. So for me, it's all about maintaining what you have, increasing market share, okay, and branding. Get your brand out there. Market your brand. So now's the time. Get your ducks in line. Get as much spendable income as you can. Get your debt down. And then you'll be able to pick up something, whether it's for your retirement or to make real money down here. Because the best way to make money down here, in my personal opinion, is doing exactly what I do. Vacation rentals. But you cannot have debt. You cannot have debt down here. It's harder down here to have debt than it is in the States, because we have no safety nets. We close up. Nobody's sending me a check every month. There's no unemployment. There's no Social Security. You're only as good as your last customer. And that's what a lot of gringos down here don't understand. They think it's just a cash cow. No, This is not passive income down here. If you do a business down here, it's hard. It's a lot of work that goes into making a business successful down here. Just look at all the YouTubers that right now are stopping their YouTube channels. A couple guys who do Susua content because there's no money in it. Everybody's doing it behind the eight ball. Why did I get into it? Because I can market my business. That's why I do it, and I'm bored. I got nothing else to do during the day. I can only go sit at a bar so often, and I can only go to the beach so much. And eventually, I got to get out of the house, you know. So it fills a niche. It fills a need. There's one more thing I want to talk about before I end this video. Somebody wrote on one of my comments. I forget what video it was on, but I think it was talking about Susua slowing down. And he said, yeah, you guys ran the Passport Brothers out of the town. Now you guys are going to suffer. There's winners and losers in every economy, okay? When things are inflating, when they're deflating, okay? Right now, what is driving the economy in Susua, really driving the economy, I'm not talking just keeping a bar afloat. I'm talking real money, real investment, is all the Canadians coming down here and purchasing property. And that will continue as long as the Canadian housing market is still as it is, status quo. And I think they're way overdue for a correction up there because they didn't have it in 2008. And things have been just ramping up. And it's to the point now, from my Canadian friends that I talk to, the younger generation's having a hard time buying a house. The people who are selling their houses right now are the baby boomers. So they bought their house at 25, 30 years ago, and they're selling it in today's market. They're making huge money. As long as they can come down here, as long as they can sell their house in Canada, come down here and buy property here, with taking a beating on the exchange rate because you pay in dollars or you pay euros. Very few people take euros, dollars all day long. Nobody wants pesos, guys. It's an American dollar. So when they exchange their Canadian dollars for American dollars, they're taking a bath. They're getting beat up. And they still can afford to buy that $350,000, that $450,000 American dollar villa because they're making that much money on the sale of their house in Canada. If that market goes into recession, if that has a steep enough downturn, that market's dried up, gone, then things will really get interesting down here because it's the Canadians that are really driving the market down here. And I honestly am shocked that more Americans outside of the veteran community are not down here buying property because with the American dollar on a tear right now, I don't understand why Americans ain't down here just trying to get more, to acquire properties down here, to set up a life down here as an expat. I still think that mainstream America, they're still so focused on that white picket fence, that American dream. They just haven't looked outside the box yet. They just haven't realized that the real strength of the American dollar is not in America. It's in other people's countries. That's where, as an American, we make the best. That's where we get the best value for a dollar. You know, that's the strength of the dollars outside of America. So hopefully, more as the economy, well, I don't want to say hopefully the economy gets bad, but when Americans start really having economic downturns, I think maybe we're going to get people who will just say, I'm done, I'm out. I'll take whatever I can get for my house and come down here and just retire, live, survive, because you can do that down here. If you any questions about how much it costs to live down here, I did a video, my last video was all about 2025 living expenses. So guys, with that being said, that's what I think is going to happen. I think in 18 months, if you're that investor, going to be some really good deals. The people who bought property to get into the market over the last 4 years might be in trouble because they bought at the top. Can they weather the storm? That's basically what I think it's going to come down to, because I do not see things getting much better anytime soon. I think this is going to be, at a certain level, the new norm. So then it boils down to you as the business owner. How do you increase your market share? How do you market your brand? And that's one of the things I love about Casa de Compai. No condo complex to answer to. I own the whole thing. Nobody's going to change a rule that will affect my business, because as this gets worse, the people that run these condo complexes and gated communities are going to make it harder for people to do business who they feel are undesirable. And it's been happening for 18 months. I've done videos on it. Go look at my library catalog. You can see where I talk about it. So guys, with that being said, always remember, keep private personal and personal private. Guys, peace out.